You see, so easy. Just, oh. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsai Heirloom. I would like to repot this Cork Elm, which I've been doing it for about 15 years. And when it started off, was a tree, the trunk was really no more thicker than this. And after 15 years, this get to be a sizable trunk size. What happens is this is a tree I pull out of the ground. Maybe it was going this way, but I cut that off to make it a turn. But this is a elm tree that I pull out of a 5-gallon can, and it's got a lot of long roots. And instead of cutting it off, I use that for the base. So this is actually, the tree actually start off begins about here, and then the rest of it is the root that I use for the design. And this is actually quite a common type of tree in Japan and in China. In Japan, they refer to as exposed root bonsai. In China, it's more trying to simulate nature, and that's because China has a lot of flooding. And when the whole area gets flooded, the soil gets washed out and the roots gets exposed, and that's the nature of the tree. This tree I like, and most people seen it, they really like because it's got a lot of movement. But for example, here's a flaw. If you look at it this angle, of course, that's not the front. You can see the two are going like this. It's not very attractive. It should be like this. Roots should be spread out. So I will attempt, I hope it's still possible to push the two apart later on when I do the repotting. So the purpose of repotting is to really fine tune your tree and reorient the tree, do a little fine tuning so that over time, over many repotting cycles, the tree will become wonderfully perfect from your own ideal. It may not be perfect for somebody else, but that's your tree. So with that in mind, then I'll get to work. The first thing I want to do is remove all of the guide wires because they will get in the way. And if they bounce back, I can always push it back again later on after I'm done to bring it to my ideal again. I like guide wire a lot because that's simulating the branch. When it gets heavy, it droops, and then it branch out from there naturally. So I use guide wire quite frequently. I prefer that much more than wiring because it's a compromise between making use of what's existing there to create your own ideal. So I'm ready to clip away for a few minutes, and then I would take the plant out of the pot and rework the roots and so forth. A fairly rough pruning because I will have much opportunity to reprune it again, but just to get it to rough shape. I'm just shortening the ones that grow out of shape in the sense of one not being too long and modify the basic design of the concept of the design. The leaves will be dropping in about another 3 weeks, and then I can do the fine tuning again. So just one branch at a time and get it done to get it to rough shape, and then I can always redo it again. Nothing is critical because they grow back fairly quickly. Be bold. Unless you're bold, you're not going to have dramatic looking bonsai to impress yourself and impress others. So this is again a really quick rough pruning. And then I would do a more fine pruning over the next course of several months. And if I made a mistake, it will recover, no big deal. So just do it quickly. We should get that done in about 5 minutes. And then I will take it out of the pot and work on it. So that's a rough pruning I did, and now I'm ready to take it out of the pot to repot it. And then one of the main reasons for repotting, of course, just in case it's root bound, to give better aeration and better watering for the root water to reach the plant. So I will continue to do improved clipping over the next several months until get it down to perfection every branch. With that in mind, then what I'll do is you see there's usually a lip around the edges, which means that there will be soil there, not possible to pull out of the pot. Usually, again, I don't anchor the tree into the pot because I don't see there's any need because the trees tend to, but you can see as I do it, I can feel their roots that are reasonable size there, that unless I cut it, I'm not gonna get it out of the pot easily. So this basically to lose the tree from the soil from the pot so I can just pull it right up. Because I will be cut off a layer around the edges and the bottom anyway. So I'm just in fact doing it right now. So either take one of these or one of the kitchen knives that's serrated to help you cut the edges, the roots that are gone into the edges. That's it. I usually tilt it to make it a little easier to come out of the pot. You see, so easy. You see the root pruning prevented any roots curling because they all got girdled. When they go through the mesh, they got cut. And this tree was repotted about 5 years ago. So you can see it's perfectly fine. There's almost no root winding in the bottom. And I can just reuse this mesh again. Very easy. It takes repotting. It's just really a 5-minute job. Nothing traumatic. People made a really big deal about repotting. It takes hours to loosen the soil and so forth. I don't do that. So again, let me loosen up the soil a little bit so I have more freedom in reorienting the tree. You can see there's actually a lot of moss growing before, but I actually took off a layer for my show bonsai. But now it's the raining season, the moss will go back very quickly. By the time when I show you 3 months from now, this tree will be all around like a very green lawn that you will love it. So you can see there's a few thick roots, which I will in fact cut off to induce fibrous roots. And now I have and I will try to get rid of the little weeds that's missed when in a pot. And you just gotta constantly remove the weeds so they don't go to seeds to clutter up the bonsai. So this tree is actually very nice in a sense in terms of having moss and no roots and no weeds and all that. And I try to loosen the bottom so that the roots will shoot out. Now I mentioned early on this one, and I'm not sure it's too hard now to break this. Yeah, I think this is too hard. I don't think I can break this. Ideally, I like to separate these two. at least the roots not intertwined, then I can try to push the branches apart. I hate to do that. Yeah, I'm breaking it, but that's okay. So long it's connected, it will live. So this part is connected. So now I push this apart a little bit to make it look a little bit better. And with that, I stick some soil in it to keep it apart. I think this root should survive because this is connected. If not, I have a tree by itself. So that's what you have to do. You have to be pretty brutal with your tree to get to where you want it to be. This will heal, so not to worry about it. So I'm cheap. I can reuse this mesh because it's exactly right size and nothing protruding. You can see like how the root is being girded right here. See, it couldn't go through the thing. So that's why root pruning is a very good thing. So now let me put this tree back. And at least I make this one go a little bit further apart. And so I will go try to get a post to keep it apart. So I found a little stub to push the two apart. And I may even use a longer one. When this heals up, I'll push further to make it spread out a little bit more so I don't kill that branch at the root. So let me come to the front to see what is a good front. I think this is a nice one to accentuate, but I think this is, I need to worry about this one. I need to maybe push it back this way. You see, I also broke this branch to be able to twist this. It doesn't hurt so long as it's connected. So in fact, I would prefer this to spread out a little bit more. And anchor it. Just, oh, that's okay. I'll keep it. It should be fine. It's still connected. Accidents do happen, but you just gotta salvage it. Okay. Well, I broke it. It's very unfortunate. I tried to bend this a little bit, and this is a very nice design, but in the process, I broke it. So now what I do, when you have lemon, you make lemonade. And so what I'll do is now I'll use this branch to pull it down gradually over time, and I will probably break it as well. But let this branch grow down to cover this way. So that's what I would do, is to anchor this one down as much as I can. Instead of this way, we down very much, and then this way, this one pull further down to cover this angle. It may take a year or two to recover, but it will look quite nice nonetheless. But I'm sorry I broke it, but that's life. And when you have lemon, you make lemonade. So I'm not going to lament it because no point in crying over spilled milk. So I will gradually push this down, like maybe 1 or 2 degrees every month until I get it all the way down. And I don't want to break this one again. So this is what I will do. So again, this is not great, but this one eventually will come down this way, and this one will be here. So this is the branch I want to keep pushing down, let it grow longer, and pushing it down to give it that, cover that hole. So that's a tree. I'm sorry I broke it, but I think it will recover in time. And with that, I'll probably push this one down a little bit, and maybe this one down a little bit too. You see, it look okay. All right, so now I'll put the soil back in and show you this tree again in I would say in March, April timeframe. And then we show it 2 or 3 times a year for you to follow this tree. I always push the soil down back in the bottom so that make sure it's got good contact. There's no hole in the bottom, waste the space. So there's no absolute design, even though I broke that branch, it can recover. That's why I say you can make no mistake, just be bold and go for your design, and eventually you can work on it to make it recover or do whatever the vision you have in mind. So that's the beauty of bonsai. It's a living art that's allows you to be very creative. This is actually quite good soil mix. That's why I didn't change any because it's just sandy loam or just topsoil plus peat moss. So that can be reused. There's nothing new about it because I use liquid fertilizer. So that would be good as any soil. I mean, there's no new soil as such in the world. All the soil has been around for centuries. So in that sense, don't worry too much about changing new soil. But if you use artificial soil like akadama, then you really do have to worry about changing the soil because after many years, the decay changes the original design purpose of the artificial soil. So you do have to replace them. But for the soil that I recommended, there's not much need to replace them because whatever you replace is really the same stuff. Well, I also solicit you to give me feedback because when it's all said and done, I'm just an engineer. I'm not a botanist, but I use my common sense more than what I learned in the botany books. So if you think I say something not quite right, please let me know. And I love to learn from you and share with the rest of the community so that we all learn, okay? So this is it, and I'll put some pulverized moss on it, and it will be beautiful green in March when I show it to you again. So here's a tree. To recap, what I did today is I took the tree outside of the original pot and did a little bit of modification. And in the process, I actually put 2 boo-boos. I broke this root trying to split it apart to improve the look, but that was fine because it will heal back. On the other hand, this branch I actually broke off. But actually, I think this is actually more balanced. It's just that to take a little while for this branch to come down to cover a little bit of that front. And then I put it back in the pot. This pot I did not change either, the original pot, because I think it fits this tree pretty well. And I actually reused the mosquito net because it's still good. That's it. It's very easy to repot, and you do a little fine tuning. After a few years of tuning, fine tuning, repotting, I think you'll have a very nice tree. So I broke this tree. That's a Cork Elm twice. It shows you this is a very brittle tree. It probably isn't a good landscaping tree because the big wind blows, it will probably blow a big branch off. But on the other hand, it's a beautiful bonsai because it's a corking, very rough bark. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you find it informative, and join our channel so that we can notify you of any new posting. Visit our website to join the raffle. I see you next week, and we'll do another bonsai. Thank you very much.